Texas is set to implement a second major law putting new restrictions on abortion in the Lone Star State. The new measure would limit chemical abortions, making it illegal for doctors to prescribe pills to medically induce abortions after 49 days into a pregnancy. Well, joining us now, Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council. Tony, always great to see you here on Faith Nation. Texas is implementing this latest law restricting abortion even before we've heard back from the Supreme Court over the September law effectively banning abortions in the state after a heartbeat is detected. Tony, what does that tell you?
Well, John, first it tells me the reason that the court took up the issue yesterday of Dobbs is because state legislatures have been doing their job for the last decade. They have been addressing the issue that Congress has not and the courts imposed upon the nation, and that is protecting the health of women and unborn children. Look, there are a lot of health consequences associated with these abortion pills that are, done through the mail, through telemed. And what's happened over the last, probably the last decade, as we've seen more and more states pass pro-life laws restricting certain aspects of abortion, we've seen a move away from brick and mortar, the abortion clinics, kind of taking an Amazon approach to abortion, and doing some of this through the mail and telemed. The women do not have the benefit of the interaction with the doctor, their health consequences associated with it. So I commend Texas for not waiting for the court to give them approval to do what they need to do.
You mentioned it. Yesterday was the Dobbs case before the Supreme Court. Many say it could overturn Roe v. Wade. Tony, read the tea leaves for us. How do you think the Supreme Court might rule on this case?
Well, Jen, I've never been good at determining what the court would do, but I will say this based upon the oral arguments and the questions and the comments made by the justices. It does look very promising that finally, after almost 50 years, we will see this issue that was snatched from the hands of the states, taken over by the court, saying that they were going to solve this issue once and for all. And we now know that they have done nothing but inflamed the debate around abortion, that it may go back to the states. So I feel very confident about that. And we've already seen what the states are doing, that they're aggressively taking on this issue. And that's the closest to the people. The only way our constitutional republic works is when we have the ability to work out our differences and come to a consensus, an agreement on policies, especially policies like this. Now, as you could see from the court yesterday, especially from Justice Sotomayor, the concern of the left is if Roe falls, which is really the house of cards that they've set up for all of this judicial activism, they're concerned about some of the other policy initiatives that the left has pushed on the American people through the court as well.
Tony, if SCOTUS, if the decision weakens or reverses Roe, what could that mean for the GOP in 2022 and maybe in 2024? Some suspect or some suggest it could fire up the Democratic base.
I've read that, I've heard that, but here's the deal, John. The left has relied upon the courts. They can't pass this stuff legislatively. That's why they've gone to the courts to begin with. So I don't see this as a windfall of political activism for the left. Will some activists be upset? I'm sure they will, but they're not going to be able to get their agenda through the legislative process. If anything, I think this is going to help conservative pro-life lawmakers because this issue is going to go back to the states and pro-life activists are going to have to stay engaged, in fact, ramp up their engagement to ensure that what the court has now handed to the states, if they rule in that fashion, is followed through appropriately and life is protected at the state level.
All right, Family Research Council's Tony Perkins, we always appreciate you making time for us. Thanks,
Tony.
Thanks.